It's times like these where I forget that I have a very stupid upload schedule. Hello everyone, it is the me again, Penguin21, and today we're going to be talking about, well, something I didn't think I would be talking about, and that is the closing of the Xbox deal with the ABK merger. The nearly 69 nice billion-dollar company, or, well, billion-dollar being bought from the other company. Great! Oh boy. So, you've probably seen this a lot this entire week because literally every commentary channel that I know of that covers these sorts of games and things is basically going around to talk about this and talk about all the meltdowns of Sony fanboys on Twitter. So obviously I decided to take my due diligence and go mining for y'all to try and get some sort of semblance of information out of these people. But basically, from pure PlayStation, this is what I basically have here. And yeah, so the basic premise of this is just I'm not reading through this. I really don't want to. But with the Activision acquisition thing going through and stuff, basically this is the one thing that we care about is the CMA approves a lot of the Microsoft ABK stuff to let the deal actually go through. And yeah, now they're making a push for this, that, and the other thing. Again, you can read through this whole thing as well, but Jesus Christ. Yeah, a lot of these don't seem to be actual things. Not only that, but there's a couple things in here that are stupid that I wanted to point out. One being that the PlayStation Portal being priced at $199 being releasing in the next month, which that's just basically a glorified tablet, as people have pointed out, as well as possible Switch 2, I guess, which that's probably not anything. I mean, again, how do you know? That's my biggest question. But moving on, we have Sony says 1 week. He says, why 1 week? This beats everything. Tweeting at actual Sony, by the way, which is more of a bigger thing, bigger company than just, actually PlayStation. PlayStation is the only one that cares about all these division things. Literally, that's not the same effect that you think it is. My brother xCloud Tim Dog downloading them old Call of Duty games in Game Pass and playing them for the very first time in 2023 be like, it's basically putting mayonnaise on something, I guess, J-Dub. Very weird comparison, but okay. Of course, the FTC is still kind of on Microsoft's butthole, as according to this article here. Really nothing much to say there, just that's going for round 2, are we? It's great. Next up, we've got a Red Dragon, of course, with congrats. Now, new layoffs will happen, prices will rise, history shows quality will decline massively. But at least Xbox fans get to play these games they could already play. Sir? Yeah, because they were an independent studio, they're not going to take away those independent studio stuff. So, yeah. Also, there's already a pretty interesting deep layoff here, and that being good old Bobby Kotick to be leaving the Activision by the end of 2023 with over $400 million in stocks, which, to be fair, we all expected this, but thank Christ that this sort of thing is happening right now and not after the deal is fucking being closed. So, good on ya, Microsoft. Already kicking out the fucking stupid ass dumb motherfuckers at that place. So thank God. Of course, there's the FTC thing again, as well as someone basically. Let's see. Microsoft spent $90 billion on publishers, and the only exclusive seller they own is currently 60s on Steam. Also, it's 69. Nice. Steam with about 30,000 players. They still don't have a single studio they can compete with Naughty Dog or Santa Monica. Sir, you are using, I've said this before in another tweet, but you are using Steam numbers, PC numbers, by the way, and only on one platform. Steam, which is a big number, but you are using the concurrent player counts to the actual other accounts of this, as well as a number of problems as well. Like, there's so much different layers of stupid here that you are a Sony person who's trying to dunk on Xbox by using Steam's numbers, when Steam is only one of the several platforms that exist with this. Also, I think you're trying to use concurrent player numbers on a single player game as well, because that's how single player content in games fucking work. Glad the ABK deal is done, so we can now go back to mocking Xbox for being dog shit until they close up shop in 2027 per Phil Spencer's leaked email. Spider-Man 2 time, let's go! I don't know if they will actually do it in 2027, because when were those emails, like, released? When were those emails actually, like, codified and dated? If they were dated to when the Xbox, like, 1 or 2 happened, then yeah, absolutely. If they were dated to, like, a more recent time, I don't think so. One of, if not the biggest things here, is that they will draw more customers with this, and I don't think that they will actually close up shop in 2027. It just doesn't make any sense to me as to how that would work. If they do, I will eat my words, but at the time of right now, I don't see that happening. We got Unleashed here with the... It's insane how much a behemoth PlayStation is, that even after gobbling, like, at least Activision, Blizzard, King, and Bethesda, they are still below PlayStation in revenue. But yet he doesn't figure out, and by this at least made up numbers from what I can tell here. I don't think all of these numbers are made up. I think that the numbers here are a little bit weird. But that pushes Microsoft's revenue up by a pretty substantial margin. I know it's hard to see in this screenshot, but it's like originally 15,000 in revenue, now shot up to 22,000. That's like an increase of nearly 2. By a factor of 2. Like, is it a factor of 2? I can't really tell. Like, it's an increase by a factor of at least 1.5, if I can do my math correctly. That's a pretty substantial increase for one purchase. PlayStation studios are built different. Gaming is always about how good and not how many. Meanwhile, I have only heard of a handful of these studios, and all these studios are only, like, the big ones here. And Bungie itself isn't technically a studio. It just operates more as a support studio than anything else. Like, oh, but that's an actual studio. It's like, yeah, but they won't be merely making much or anything, because they still operate independently from Sony. So it's more of like they are working tangentially under a contract rather than anything else. So they can't really tell them what to do. But I guess 10/13/2023, the official death of Activision Blizzard. Have you not seen Blizzard the past, like, 5 to 10 years? Like, like, seriously? Have you not seen Activision Blizzard the past, like, 15, 20, like, 5, 10, 15 years-ish? Well, maybe not 15 years, but 5, 10 years? Like, they've been kind of garbage. Ever since the release of, like, Black Ops 2, they've gone downhill. Like, Black Ops 2 was, like, the peak of COD for me, at least, and Activision Blizzard has mostly just been pumping out COD sequels, and Blizzard has just been trying to slowly kill their one new IP in the past, like, years that they've had any good IPs. So no, I don't think that this is the death. I think this is actually good. And again, they've already kicked out Kotick, so improvements already. Oh boy, so this is one that I actually found out recently more about, and this is that Walmart has apparently stopped selling physical games via Insider Gaming. Even huge JRPGs at Microsoft's Prime marketing platform, the Persona 3 Reloaded and stuff, aren't launching physically in Japan. And he goes on to say that physical media is the biggest indicator of the health and hype of a gaming platform. Enforcing online DRM and limiting ways people access content they buy, suddenly shutting down digital storefronts, all the while pushing sub-services will hurt gamers on the long run. apparently. Okay, let's break down each of these points. So, yeah, if Walmart stops selling physical Xbox games, maybe because they are not really doing well as a business, maybe it's because Walmart's not doing well and they don't do that. I don't know. I didn't read the article. I don't care to read the article because that's not necessarily an indicator of who's doing good anymore. Saying that even JRPGs that are launching that they aren't launching physically in Japan. Maybe because they can't afford the tariffs or something like that. But it's Microsoft. Yeah, but still. At the same time, like, that's probably what it is. But even still, that's still a dumb point because of the biggest thing here being that physical media is the biggest indicator of the health and hype of a gaming platform. Yet most of the games that are even physical nowadays, right? They are just the DRM that you use to get the game to download onto your console or PC or whatever, right? Or that certain games like, I don't know, the God of War Ragnarok Special Edition didn't come with a physical copy or disc. It came with just like a digital code. Like, is that so stupid to think that, physical media is not the biggest indicator anymore? That it's kind of dying out, unfortunately, due to digital media being faster, cheaper, and more efficient? It's like, do you get outside at all? Ever? More from pure PlayStation here. After the ABC closes on the 18th, PlayStation will press L3 and R3. I don't get the joke here. Market leaders are built different, but better not wake up a sleeping lion. Spartan Rage always available. Uh-huh. And then he basically made this meme, which, yikes. Cringe. And then, of course, we have good old Salt King here to celebrate the acquisition of it. Here's a quote from the late Steve Jobs. And this quote here is oftentimes used by ponies and stuff, so I did a little digging on it, just to see where this quote kind of came from. And this quote was mainly talking about Microsoft versus Apple. Like, it's always been talking about Microsoft versus Apple. So I'm like, what was their opportunity about Sony? And they actually had a lot of interesting and weird things to say about Sony. And the comparison between Apple and Sony is very apt because Sony took a lot of inspiration from Apple, and Apple took a lot of inspiration from Sony, which is the weird thing to say there because Steve Jobs went over to Apple, or Steve Jobs went over to, that's stupid. Steve Jobs went over to Sony a few times to, like, even give them weird critiques as well, saying, like, the PSP won't work because discs suck. And it's like, but we wanted to make a cool thing. It's like, yeah, but you're being a dumbass. So I'm like, okay. I don't know. I just found it weird. I wanted to just spread a weird fact that Steve Jobs also had some pretty harsh critiques of Sony as well. Maybe not as bad as Microsoft, but overall, yeah, some stuff like that. So to kind of finish off this video a little bit, we've got some of the Xbox people over here basically just putting out meme after meme after meme with Sony fanboys playing Twitter today be like, which I don't know who made this art, but this art, I think, is it AI generated? I can't tell. It looks kind of AI generated for some reason. I don't know why. Phil Spencer telling Sony executives that from now on, Xbox gets 70% of the cut from the individual copy of Activision games sold on every PlayStation platform. I mean, yeah, I have nothing really to add there. Next up, we've got, Uni, where it's only a matter of time before Xbox is the #1 gaming company. PlayStation's rate of terror at the top was numbered. Xbox is inevitable. Ugh. I mean, I don't think that Xbox will ever be super successful, realistically speaking. I think that as of right now, that they should at least strive to, keep the company going at this point. Not that they won't be successful, but they'll success. I think in this context matters more in terms of long-term success, because I've always said this ever since the ABK deal started. They're not thinking of like the today thing. They're thinking of like the next 10 to 15 years type deal, where they're going to be, what they would like to do, and they're going to try and project that. And I don't know that Sony does the same thing, but recently they must have come into some sort of problem because they're thinking a lot of short-term games and stuff. But looking at this right here, do these clowns think that think in the land of delusion? Think in a land of delusion, Sony Reign of Terror? Do they really think that Microsoft is their friend and won't milk them for their cash when the time is right? Microsoft has more power and leverage now over customers. I can't. Considering that Sony has done the exact same fucking thing for the past, probably since the start of this generation, are you shitting on my fucking dick right now? Like, are you kidding me? Sony being in the number one position isn't enough for you. Sony, increasing the price of their games, increasing the price of their live service PS Plus subscription, which they kind of stole the idea from Microsoft, right? They're increasing the price of the PlayStation and increasing the price of the PlayStation Slim. They increased the price of the PlayStation, then they decreased it again, but they're now increasing the price of the PlayStation again with their new redesigned version to make it quote-unquote slimmer, where you have to spend like a lot of money, up to like $400, $500 to get a console that you kind of want. Like, it's dumb. It's very dumb. Not only to mention the fact that that same company, right, also is just kind of doing you dirty. It's doing you dirty. It really is. They're increasing the price. How the fuck can you not see that? Next up, we got the last 5 years of acquisitions, where, they kind of go over this here. There really isn't much in terms of, like, things wrong with this. It's just an interesting chart to look at, so I'll just let you guys look at that and mull it over a little bit. So pause if you want to read more. Next up, we've got Clint Eastwood. I've avoided talking about this dude because, quite honestly, I don't care. And to be fair, when he says, "The console war is officially over," you sound like a fucking nerd. Yes, my spankings are equal an opportunity. Just saying. But it's all about the games, and Xbox has the games. They are stock. They were stacked before ABK Xbox. If you play anywhere and play everywhere besides one piece of plastic, you win. I at least kind of agree. I can't hate on him too much because he at least this meme is kind of based. I'm gonna be honest, Chief. I may like say that I hate this guy, but I can't hate on him. He's like a puppy, like the kind of puppy that like chews up the furniture sometimes, but you still love him in some weird, stupid way. But you still want to drop kick him half the time. Just saying. So, PlayStation X Square Enix, and then he proposes like a PlayStation X Square Enix thing, which I don't even think Square Enix would even remotely think that that's how that would go, and that I don't think so. I don't even know if PlayStation would be even able to afford Square Enix at this point. Plus, again, with Square Enix, didn't they lose a lot of money? Like $2 billion plus because of some of their recent releases. Some people were attributing that to Final Fantasy, and I'm not going to attribute that here because that's the wrong thing and it was a clickbait article. But they still lost about $2 billion, and I think we're hoping to make up for that with the sales of the Final Fantasy 16, which did not happen. So yeah. Next up, we got PlayStation is this one I should Fuck it. This one I have some personal weird investment in, with the PlayStation fanboy saying that PlayStation's or Xbox is going to increase the price of Activision to $20 a month, and like Xbox don't care. There is a little bit of a continuation to this, and I wanted to save this for his own thing. But basically, I took a screenshot as well of some of the replies, and I replied to this guy saying, "Shit, if Sony sees Game Pass and they charge $30 for theirs," and he says, "We know that shitbox scum enjoy being milked like cattle, cross-eyed, edgy." Okay. So, by that logic, that means that the PlayStation guys like getting milked more. Because not only did Sony increase the price of the console first, not only did Sony increase the price of their games first, and that Sony is looking to increase the price of their current system to upwards of $40+, or upwards of $40 on top of what it is. Like, so like their current price plus $40, I should say. Then that means that PlayStation guys like to be milked more, right? By that logic, if it's really, we can do this all day. Anyway, but next up we've got thank God. I'm so tired of hearing of this deal, and you know what? Fuck it. I think that's what we'll end it on. There's another smaller one that's someone quoting Colt Eastwood. But I'm not going to really talk about that one because, quite honestly, it's stupid. But, yeah. Thank God this deal is over. So tired of hearing about this deal. Xbox owned by Activision Blizzard. It's over. Thank God we can stop talking about this deal now. Or at least until the next Call of Duty comes out, probably. Which people are going to be like, oh, well, Xbox is doing this thing. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. It's ridiculous. In any case, I think that'll about do it for this video. I know it's a little bit of a long one, but I wanted to get all these tweets and stuff in here. So, yeah. Final thoughts here. Final quick thoughts is that, thank God the ABK deal is over. I don't care about this deal anymore. I am so tired as well because I drank a lot the night before, and I usually record these videos about a week or so in advance, so anything else on top of this is just whatever the fuck. So, yeah, these are just the tweets that I managed to find, and you'll probably see salt dealers coming out of the woodwork by now. But anyway, be expecting that AI art video to come out soon because, quite honestly, there's a little bit of a quick update that I wanted to do on that for the good old Shadowversity, Shade, whatever. But that's probably coming out soon and stuff like that. I have a couple other videos I wanted to talk about, but this one's seeking to get to the top of the pile. In any case, I've talked to you off and off. My name is GamePeng21. If you like what it is that I do and want to support me in everything that I do in way, shape, or form, other than viewership, but your viewership is most definitely enough. Links down to everything in the description below, Patreon, Gumroad, as well as my Bandcamp and stuff. New EP coming out soon after the release of that. After my first release of this thing, I need to just get a quick album cover and stuff together. So, as soon as that comes out, I'll let you know for the EP for another Halloween-type release. And anyway, my name is GamePeng21. Thank you all for watching, and a peace off.